fellas. Back in 2009, Transformers made a second movie, and it wasn't that bad. It was terrible, actually. The worst movie in the whole franchise. I hate it, but I also kind of love it. The toy line for the movie was really good, but then there was Devastator, who was the most confusing part of the movie and the toy line. Like, how Devastator wasn't actually a part of the climax, he was just a part of the bits leading up to it. And during the whole Devastator thing, there were guys going out in the sea, and freaking Demolisher had already been dead for 90 minutes, and it was so confusing. Like, were there like 5 of everybody? Like, what's going on here? And even with the toys, it was even splotchier. There was that big $100 figure that only had 6 of the alt modes and could only turn into the limbs of the vehicles. It wasn't great. And then there were the Legends class figures, which, to be fair, were pretty great, but you know, they're so small. I'm sorry, average. And that's when Studio Series came in. Here comes the Studio Series Constructicons, promising to have a full-featured team of Constructicons who would work by themselves as their own individual guys, and as a larger part of Devastator. About time. Number 1! Skipjack! Doing these in the order I got them. First we got Rampage, or Skipjack. I don't care anymore. One-time Predacon, one-time Crab Thing, and one-time Constructicon. Oh my god, can't you just pick a thing? So indecisive, jeez, freaking go, leave. No, I don't want you here anymore. Wait, I kind of need him to do the video, The old mode is really good at hiding all of the transformery bits. I mean, yeah, we have some greebles right here, and you can see a little bit of the greebling right there. But outside of that, it's really good. Yeah, there's not really any kibble for booting up cold. Seriously, outside of these little tendrils and this little bigger tendril, this thing was pretty much perfect. But there had to be something. Every single combiner team always has to have some sort of weird kibbly bit. But you know what? I don't care. This was $35. Each of the Constructicons were different price ranges. Some of them were Leader class, some of them were Voyager class, some of them were Deluxe class. This wasn't Combiner Wars where there was 1 Voyager and 4 Deluxes. This is a toy lineup of figures that are each different prices. So I feel like the prices should be about what they're worth, and I feel like maybe they could have fixed this. Honestly, I'm kidding. This actually ain't that bad. Lord knows I've forgiven way worse. But it's just frustrating because we were so close to having a perfect alt mode. Whatever, Skipjack, Ramface, I'm just... whatever. The rest of the vehicle mode is great. I mean, it could use for some uppy-downy action, but, you know, it's fine. That shouldn't be, like, a 100% expected thing. And it's fine without it. I do have a minor problem. You see, the robot mode doesn't have any weapons outside of the whip-be-doos. Outside of these, you can remove these pipes and attach these to the thumbs and make these the guns that he had in the movie. But because they are removable, I cannot tell you how many figures of this guy I've seen on eBay who go for like how much they were in stores and even more, missing these bits, thinking that they're 100% complete because it looks perfectly fine with them missing. I understand how this is functional and it's cool and the weapon storage is really interesting, but I feel like this is just asking for kids to lose this piece. And I know a lot of kids don't care about losing pieces, but I know that when I was a kid, whenever a Transformer lost a piece or a weapon, it wouldn't entirely ruin the figure for me, but I would become a lot less interested in playing with that figure particularly because it's missing like a weapon or a hand or something like that. I'm just a little bit angry, just a little bit. Also, as I've gone over before in multi-figure reviews, I don't go over the transformations because that'd be too time-consuming. Robot mode. What the? Why is he red now? If the movies can do it, then so can I. This man cannot stand, but good thing he comes with a stand, flip out this bit. The painting and the sculpting is pretty good. I mean, I do think it could use a little more breakup along this area, like in the shoulders, and maybe in the legs right there, because it is a lot of red, but, you know, I think it works. Head sculpt is really nice. It looks just like the freaky deaky boy that was in the movie. Minor issue with mine, it might just because of, you know, I've had this guy for a while, but his arms are wobbly as hell. Look at this. That is not good. I understand that this figure is like 5 or 6 years old now, but that's not good. No elbows. Oh, come on. I understand that for the transformation, he can't really have elbows without them really breaking the sculpt, but I can still complain. Hinge, ball joint. These, and also one of these. In, out, rotation, butterfly, swivel, and thingies. And whips, I guess. No weapons on the guy, except for what we've already discussed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Good posability, okay paintwork, pretty good sculpting, a pretty fun transformation, and a so-so alt mode. I give this guy a solid 3.5 out of 5. Now, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and see you next time. Right now. Number 2, Scrapper! This is Scrapper, once team leader, and has now been demoted to copy and paste number maker upper. Seriously, this guy was everywhere. I think he's second only to Long Haul. Did he become Trench? Did I hear somewhere that he just left the Decepticons and became Trench? I don't know. I don't care. I do not care. Now, listen. I understand I gave a lot of crap for Skipjack the Blackjack over there earlier for his Kibbly alt mode. But this, I'm a little more okay with, because the robot mode is so good. Looks just like the movie design, it's amazing. So I kind of am a lot more lenient with this. I mean, yeah, the bucket wouldn't work well as a bucket, and it looks like a mess. There's combiner bits just hanging around, and smokestacks in the wrong place. Could use some color breakup though, it's very yellow, it kind of hurts my eyes. Robot mode. Sorry. Anyway, so this robot mode is really good. Stay. Like, listen, at no point at this figure do I see any kibble, ignore that. Outside of that bit, there was no kibble on this robot mode. And I know it's kind of against the alt mode, but it makes my brain do a happy. I realize now that I forgot to mention that there was like a whole heaping bunch of kibble on the back of Skip Rampage over here. So, yeah. The head sculpt is so good. It really looks like the movie. It's weird that they painted the nostrils red, though. Like, oh wow, are they trying to trick me into thinking that those are his eyes? Those are his nostrils. I'm confused. The asymmetric hands are a weird choice, and I don't like that you can't do the flailing thing with this hand. But he does have the claw, so that's something. Also, I think the first thing that I did with this thing when I first got it was I snapped this bit, the bit that prevented it from doing that. I don't really care that it's broken. It's perfectly fine. It, like, doesn't hinder anything. I don't even know why that piece is there. A lot more gray and black pop up in the color scheme, which really helps it from looking so just painingly bright yellow. Articulation. Hinge, 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 ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, ball joint. Swivel, hinge, swivel, double bend elbow, hinge here. Swivel, hinge, crab claws. I don't know what you call this joint, like waist butterfly joint? Rotation here. And bend at the knee. Oh, and this too. The posability is really good in some areas and really underwhelming in others. Like, on one hand, we have the amazing neck articulation and arm articulation, and then we have things like the knees, which are really underwhelming and don't bend that far. Or maybe it's just the really thick legs that make it seem like it doesn't bend that far, I don't know. Either way, this figure is really good, beating Skip Rampage, and he's currently at the top of the ranking. But there's only 2 figures so far, so he's probably gonna get beat. 4 out of 5. Cool. What the? Where am I? Number 3, Long Haul! Long Haul has a very, very nice dump truck mode. And yes, he does have a lot of stuff in the but that's kind of understandable because he does have to be a foot, a robot, and this thing. By the way, the scale that this thing is in the movie and in this toy does not give the scale of the real thing justice. Like, this thing is absolutely huge in real life. I do like the double tires back here, that's a nice little detail. Pretty much, there's pretty much no real noticeable kibble outside of the stuff in the trunk, and that's kind of, you can kind of ignore that. I know the original one was really loved because it could actually do the dumping thing, but that one didn't have to be a foot. But also, hello. How's it going? I like the dark greens, I like the blacks, and I like the blues. Very nice colors. I like it a lot. Robot mode. I just dented my table. This is Long Haul. He's one of the few Constructicons who actually got his own standalone toy in the movie. And that's because he was actually in the movie. For some reason, a lot of the Constructicons did have robot modes in concept art, but their robot modes were never in the film. So a lot of these that will be coming after this are just going to be based off of unfinished concept art. And also, before I continue, I have to say that I want to say like 4 or 5 of these are actually KOs. I know a lot of people are not going to like the fact that I purchased KOs over the original ones, but when I actually decided I wanted to complete this set, it was nearly impossible to find the original figures, and these ones were on eBay for like $5, it was fine. And even then, these are really nice quality, and he has metal toes, so I think I made it out better in the end, so, you know, quit your yapping. Anyway, onto the figure. Bro is a freaking spoiled meatball of metal. I like the tire pylons, and I like these big slabs of just shielding and missile launchers on his arms. I like that a lot. Aesthetically, it's pleasing. It's the only Constructicon here that actually looks like the original version. The knees are a bit weak, but that's fine. The head looks really nice. It's very insectoid looking. Just a note, the chest seems to be wanting to pop off, and that might just be a thing with the KO, I'm not sure. But as accurate and good as the figure is, his big on pylons tend to hit each other, which makes it kind of hard to pose him. But is that really a problem? Yes. Yes, it is. I like his hands, they're very crab-clawsy. Ball joint at the head, it could be a little difficult to get in there. That's weird. Universal joint at the shoulders, rotation, and elbows. No wrist swivel. Ratchets, and in and out. Rotation here, and rotation at the knee. Bend there. Pivot, and toe. Did I forget to mention that he has a ratcheted white swivel because I'm stupid? The posability on the figure is okay, but it's kind of hard to get him into any dynamic poses because yeah, the pylons keep getting in the way, and he's a very bulky character. But he looks really accurate, he's well painted, metal toes, that's a bonus. So he's probably the best standalone figure in this whole set. Not too many caveats, there's not really any problems with it. You can straight up just ignore the foot mode. There's no things that really stand out and be like, this is a part of a combined mode. This could very much just be a separate standalone figure, and that's okay. So if you don't want the rest of the combined mode and you just want this guy, then yeah, I'd recommend him. Okay, next.
Number 4, Scavenger!
Now for the first of 2 leader classes in this lineup, Scavenger. We're still remorsing over the loss of his brother, Demolisher.
No, Optimus!
Now listen, I actually kind of like this design for the robot mode. I actually like the design, but I do not envy the design philosophy of being able to turn it into one of these things. I don't know what it's called. A upper torso and that weird ass robot mode. I feel so bad for the designers who had to do that, and props to them because they managed to do it. Not without some caveats though. This bit on the back is absolutely horrendous. It is very kibbly back there, and I know that's going to be a turn-off for some, but personally, since I know it has to be an upper torso and a robot too, the alternate mode is always going to be kind of secondary, and you know, that's fine. I really do love the stair detail that they added there. That really goes to show how freaking huge this thing is. This thing can move, but it's extremely tight. The ratchet joints are really tight. That's mostly for the combined mode, but it is extremely tight. And the elbows, they can move, and so can this top bit. Can it? Yeah, it can. Very nice. I like that a lot. Robot mode. Oh god. I'm gonna lean in there. Just gonna lean. Listen, I do understand that it has to follow the design of the movie, and I do get that this design, I do like it a lot. I think it's just the right type of Goofy, but oh my god, this thing cannot stand. I do understand that it has to do the big wheel thing, but like, the top one doesn't even move, it's stationary, and it doesn't come with a stand. Are you kidding me? That's bullcrap. You can get him to stand on his own, but it's very difficult to do. And the fact that the Skipjack Rampage, whatever you want to call it, came with a stand, and this doesn't, it's baffling. Why does it not do that? Why does it not come with a stand? I feel like that should be very important to the whole thing of the figure. What if you're someone who doesn't want to display Devastator? What if you're someone who just wants to display the constructicons by themselves? Sucks, I guess. Whatever. I should really not be complaining about that, because the rest of the figure is really good, actually. It rolls really well. The head is huge and really well detailed and painted. The arms are really nice. This bit can be a bit loose, but that's fine. The ratchet joints are really tight. They got nice swivels and bends and whatever this thing is, and a single pinky wiggle. Just to say, the posability is the best they could have done with a design this weird. And the paint is really good. You could have used more paint on these areas up here, because it is a bit bare, but besides that, it's very nice. I like it a lot. I like the fading detail right there. It's really good. Okay, next.
Number 5, Mixmaster!
This is Mixmaster, who has been upgraded to the leader, I guess. So you probably wouldn't tell it by anything that happened in the actual film. Well, got absolutely massacred by Jetfire. He's a pretty good mixer. I like the little Decepticon Bulldog that I actually put on there, but that could break. That could be breakable. That's a little worrying. And the back is a little bit kibbly. You can see the hands and the feet, they're right there, but outside of that, it's okay. It's very nice. I do like that there are actual the little cement mixer mechanism on the back is there. That's very nice. I like that a lot. You can move the smoke pipes That's probably not what they're called, but you can move the smoke pipe so that they're very sad now. Fake wheel, that's okay. He rolls very nice. What about that? Period. How obvious is it that it's the next day now? So this one's a bit of a weird one because he's a weird shape. And don't get me wrong, we definitely have seen weirder shapes in this video. But this guy is so close to being a humanoid, but he's also not. Like, he works most of the way like you would think he would. Like, the lower body is pretty much exactly what you think it is, just minus a waist swivel. But the arms are weird. They hinge down and they bump into other bits. They do have a nice little butterfly joint, but that's really the only special reason like this guy gets. Like, he has a lot of posability, it's just weird. The painting and sculpting is pretty good, and this is probably still the definitive version of Movie Mixmaster. But that's not stopping me from saying he's weird. Head motion is great, though. Yeah, he also has the entire front of the truck as his back. So that could be a problem, but like, he has like 4 other things he needs to be. Oh, sorry. 3? Where's the gun mode? No turn mode? Are you serious? You're saying that this is the definitive version of Movie Mixmaster, and no turn mode? It's bullcrap!
What, Greg? You're not a good friend. Whoa. How could you even say that? I'm a great friend. If you were a great friend, you would have told Mr. Winsky the truth. Okay, one thing. You can't get mad about just... You only care about yourself. You hated my cartoon. You made fun of my clothes. You disrespected Joshy. You broke my hand and you didn't even seem sorry. That broken hand was the best thing that ever happened to you. Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
Okay, next.
Number 6, scrap metal.
Okay, so this one's gonna be a bit weird. This one, as mentioned, is a KO. This one's not official, so there are issues with this one that could fully not be on the original. And there are some that are definitely not on the original. So take everything I say in this part of the video with a grain of salt. Or pepper, if you're weird. So I have to say this is probably the best alt mode we've seen so far. Very little kibble, it looks almost like a model, and the added metal from the KO is very nice. Like, the little cabin is a nice little place to hang out, and the only real bit of kibble on the alt mode is the little crotch bit right there. And even the crane does a little bit of movie action, which is nice. They do get this whole thing to pop out sometimes, but you can just pop back in, it's fine. He also roll! Okay, what about mode? Okay, so this is where it gets weird. For almost the entirety of my Transformers collecting, I have advocated that KOs most of the time are okay if you can't get the original figures from the original creators anymore. And that was abundantly a reason why I purchased a KO of scrap metal and not the original one. Because the original one, for some reason, is stupidly difficult to find on the second-hand market, and I'm just not having that. I do like having both of my kidneys, I don't know if you can tell. But one of the main issues when it comes to KOs is that they don't have the same quality control factors as normal figures, and this is one of the worst examples I've ever seen in my entire life. Now listen, I'm not angry about this. I think it's kind of funny, but this is kind of serious. This is kind of like a serious topic, so I have to give it some degree of like sternness. This is a warning to people who buy KOs. Be careful, because some of them are pretty iffy. The upper half of the figure looks great. There's even a metal torso, The parts forming from the original one is still there, but that's not that bad of an issue anymore. I don't really care about parts forming. And even then, this isn't essential to the transformation, so I don't really count it as parts forming. My rule of thumb is if parts forming can make the figure work, or make the figure better than if it didn't parts form, then you should let it parts form. And even then, this isn't essential to the transformation. You can literally lose this piece and the vehicle will look perfectly fine. But the issues come down when you venture below the waist, much like your mom. I don't know if you know this, but he has 2 left legs. Broken hands. This is kind of ridiculous. He has 2 left legs. That's not okay. He still works perfectly fine, all the alt modes work. It's a bit annoying. The articulation isn't hindered in any way. It's just, my brain don't like. You know what, I can't describe how I felt when this happened, so I'm just going to show you the video from when I first opened this thing. Because I was going to make an unboxing video, but I never ended up doing that. So, yeah, I'm just going to show you. Hello, welcome to I Unbox Stuff, the series where I unbox stuff because I have a problem. I know the setup seems kind of garish and low quality, but this is only temporary because my new desk is somewhere and I can't find it, so I'm just using my brother's desk. I literally stole it. Videos are gonna be like this until further notice because you can hear the drills in the background. But again, my house is going through renovation. And I just finished my room, so I'm just making something. I actually got this at Christmas, but I didn't actually have time to open it, so it is a KO of scrap metal. Yeah, because there was the only Constructicon that I didn't have, and I didn't want to pay $8 quintillion just for scrap metal, so. Yeah. This box is really nice. Oh, there he is. There's scrap metal. There's no instructions. Oh, it's on the side of the box. I don't really use them anyway, so I'm just gonna snip them. Hey. This guy's a weirdo. Yeah. Is his foot on backwards? Oh wait. Is his leg on backwards? Oh no! He gave me 2 of the same leg. Oh, how silly. Wait, no, they give me 2 of this leg. It's just... Huh. That's weird. Oh, there it is, the infamous slab of parts forming. Will I ever do a full review of this guy? Who knows? Will this video ever come out? Who knows? But we all know one thing, death is imminent. Okay, bye. So yeah, this ain't great. But, if we look past it, the figure is still not that bad. You can cheat for some backwards butterfly, some up and down movement, ball joint, hinge joint, and grabby claw. The aforementioned legs have ball joints, hinges, and knees. Weird knees, but still knees. And this pot likes to pop off, so be wary of that. That might just be a KO thing. And again, the heads on these guys are absolutely amazing. What's with the Constructicons having great heads? So yeah, the posability on this guy is pretty okay. It's not bad, but this figure is a warning to people who buy KOs. Be careful. I got this guy on Amazon for, I want to say, like 30 bucks. So please be wary of the figures that you get, and please read the reviews.
Number 7, High Tower!
Guys, we did it! We're at the last figure. Unless you count the combined mode, which is just gonna be a whole other thing. No joke, I have been working on this video for months. I think I started recording these videos and writing them back in June. This was originally gonna be a series, but then I was like, nah, I might as well just make one big video. And I'm really happy to get this done. Like, seriously, you have no idea how long I've wanted to do this video. I've wanted to do it since, like, I want to say, like, mid-2021. But here we are, and we have Hightower, who is just... He's also a KO, but, you know, a lot better than the last one. First thing I want to say is the actual scale of this one is actually a bit off. They always portray Hightower as being like one of the shorter ones, but in all reality, this vehicle is huge. It's ginormous. I live in Florida, and there's constant construction near my house, so I see a lot of these vehicles out in the wild, and this thing is a lot bigger than this toy is giving it credit for. It rolls really nice, the deep blue paint there is super nice, and if you extend this out a little bit, this thing is fully articulated. And you can pop this off, for some reason. Oh, if we're going that far, you can pop this off too. That might just be a KO thing, I don't know. He rolls extremely nice, and he's also one of the ones that does look good from all angles with very little kibble. Outside of the massive combiner bonnet. But even then. Ain't that bad. Okay, robot mode. Ooh, that ain't sitting right. You know, for most of the Constructicons, I don't really feel like there was any good reason for them not to show up in the movie. Except for him. Hightower is so blatantly a concept art design that they never intended to make a movie character out of. You can't look at those concept arts and tell me with a straight face that they were actually planning on putting that in a movie. It's weird. It's so weird. Like, listen, the legs are actually really articulated with a hinge, a swivel, and a whole lot of just hinge joints. So you can customize it so that you can make him as tall or as short as you want. Hell, you can even do variants of the concept art design where you can have the treads, like, be normal and not be bent. And, hell, you can have this extendo neck action, which is having a lot of trouble getting out. There we go. Mine's really loose, but that's probably only because it's made of metal. Thanks, KO. I love the little dinosaur arms he has, that's pretty funny. And he has a cool little roll bar around his head, which means that he's protected, I guess, as he plays football. Also, he's got a crane. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I almost feel like this is more of his primary grabby things than his little arms are. How's it going, Zed? So I'm gonna say right now, this figure is a bit of a freak show. But he's a good freak show. I feel like Hasbro knew that this was going to be a weird one, so they tried their best. And it was a really good attempt. So, with that said, how about we move on to the Big Devi? Hey, yeah, I completely forgot to do this bit. Oh, crap. Okay, so all I have to say is, because I gotta get to this quick, his vehicle mode, it looks like that. And he has these weird little arms that don't fully pose for some reason. Pretty good legs. Again, really good head articulation. What is with that? And a piece of parts forming butt that it doesn't need to be there. Yeah, he's pretty cool, but nobody would buy him if he wasn't a part of the Constructicons. Okay, moving on! Fellas, we have a rare opportunity here. I don't have a stand big enough to hold my normal camera. So, just like with the Bone Demon video, I have a second camera. Hello! This might be the biggest thing I've ever reviewed on a channel that's not LEGO related. This guy doesn't count, he just sits there. He's so big that I'm actively, like, trying to hide my ring light from you. That's how big this guy is. And it's so cool, after 2 to 3 years of them building this figure up, they actually built a combiner with every single Constructicon being used. Like, I don't think there was a single one that they just left onto the sidelines and completely forgot about. Like, that's awesome. This is super... Now listen, I don't want anybody to go in the comments saying, Noah, you transformed this wrong, or you did this bit slightly off. Shut up. Nobody knows how to transform this thing correctly. Every single image, every single video I saw, they did this guy slightly differently. So, yeah, shut up, me. First thing I gotta say is the transformation, while a bit confusing at times, is really engaging and fun. It's super complicated, and you feel accomplished when you're done transforming it. Something that I can't really say for most Titan class figures, unless you're Omega Supreme for some reason. He's also got a nice heft to him, like he is... Oh, he's so heavy. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna show you the articulation, because it's really gonna be difficult. You know what's really true right now. The mouth can open and close. We have a hinge joint here, rotation, elbow, and fingers. The leg has in-out movement. It's got kicky, it can go really back, can do a super kick, and has a pretty intense ankle pivot. So yeah, the posability is pretty good, but it is very selective, so you have to know where each and every joint is to really get in anything in the pose you want it to. But even then, he is very expressive with the opening mouth, very posable fingers and arms, and also the legs. They're nice, I guess. They're pretty stumpy, though. And look, scrap metal's plate was actually good for something. Yippee! The figure looks very nice, though I do think that these big flat slabs are pretty inaccurate. Well, technically so is this, but nobody's stopping me. Also, one last thing, the grinder's over there. That's pretty cool. Also, one small thing, he is a little too small. Like, he should be able to eat bigger guys, but I do understand why they kept him as small as he is, because if they made him absolutely ginormous, he wouldn't be as well priced as he is. Like, listen, $300 is a lot of money, but that's about how much all of these figures are worth. So, yeah. The head sculpt is incredibly nice, with individually painted green eyes, integrated rubber hoses, and 2 separate joints in the mouth to replicate the vacuum cleaner. I think it's really cool, and the separate piece that came from Overlord is actually useful now. Now for my final thoughts on the matter. This figure was one hell of a time to collect back when it came out. Each figure coming out every couple of waves or so was really fun and interesting, and it was always cool to slowly build up your Devastator. But there are some underlying issues, like not every single figure including the same engineering style, because they switched up about halfway through. The first half of figures was more similar to the Prime Wars trilogy, while this later half was more similar to the War for Cybertron trilogy to current generations. What I mean is, not every single figure fits in with one another, and that's okay. All of these weirdos are super bizarre and strange in their own way, and by themselves, they're all really good action figures. So the fact that Hasbro was able to pull this off at all was astonishing. Like, he doesn't look as well, he doesn't look like the prototype, and he doesn't look like the box art that he even came in. But they did the best that they could, and the best that they could was really good. Do I recommend this figure? I don't know. I know there are some people who hate the Bayverse with a passion. I'm not one of those people. I like the Bayverse. I like certain things that that movie series introduced into the franchise. And I am so happy with how this figure came out. It took them so many years, and it sure was one hell of a ride. But I wouldn't change it for the world. This is one of, if not the best Titan scale, Titan class, and one of the best Titan sized big ticket Transformer items ever made. So do I recommend this? I'm not sure. While every single figure is cool and great in their own right, you don't need to buy all of them to be satisfied. You can just get 1 or 2 of them and have a grand old time. And honestly, that's okay. You don't need to have these giant, huge, bombastic toys, these big, expensive toys, to have fun. sometimes you just need one or two guys to have a great time. Buying all these figures and finally combining them back when I got it gave me a sort of nostalgic feeling that I rarely feel from other figures. Every time I transform and combine these guys and hold them and pick them up, it makes me feel like I'm a little kid again. And isn't that what we've been trying to do, collectors? Buying all of these abundance of toys and action figures and video games just so we can feel how we felt back when we were younger? Isn't that the whole purpose of collecting? Because, listen, this figure makes me feel something that I haven't felt in a long time. And that's harder and harder to come by because everyone grows up. We're never gonna feel the same way about an action figure that we did back when we were younger, because back then we used to only get toys like every couple of weeks. And that space between the figures made them feel special and made them more important to us. What I'm trying to say is, this is special in a way very few figures are. I feel the effort and the dedication that the designers put into each and every single one of these figures to make it special and important. And, you know, maybe that's enough. Maybe instead of buying a bunch of figures at once, you should just slow down and pick one up every once in a while. You don't need a million figures to be happy. You just need one good one. So yeah, that's my piece on this figure. So, please, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, do whatever you want. This is me leaving. Okay, bye. Manny, you think you can get rid of me? As long as you love money, my spirit will be here forever. No, dude, I just want you out of my house. Wait, what? Either way, I got this sword that I'm pretty sure can kill you, so... You idiot! I'm immune to swords! Did you do it? Yeah. What did it cost? Nothing. I feel great.